I guess new blood with new enthusiasm is always a very exciting thing. And Alvin just sort of described my bio, but I thought I'd briefly explain a little bit more about who I am and how it is that I came to be where I am today, just to explain why I'm speaking to you on this topic today, give you a bit of background. Because I know that we have people from different countries, cultures, and experiences, and so understanding the different pathways into a climate career can be quite useful. But this is obviously not about me today. It's all about you. But I thought I'd just try and get to know you all a bit better by first introducing myself. I mean, I'm an Australian. I was born and raised in Australia, but I've been living now in China for over 15 years. Working during that time on climate change policy, carbon markets, and the energy transition more broadly. And just to give you a sense of how that happened, I'm someone who has always, since I was young, really been interested and motivated by the climate challenge from a young age. But it wasn't my first career choice, right? For any of you that may be coming at this from a different angle. When I went to university, I actually first studied music as my major. And I did that partly because I think at the time, that is what motivated me coming out of high school and trying to figure out what it is that I wanted to do in the world. But I wasn't sure what it was that I wanted to make my career focused on. And so I did the first thing that came to hand. But while being at university, that gave me the opportunity to learn more about what's going on in the world, particularly the environmental challenges. I spent a lot of time reading and learning it, using all of the university resources that I could to figure out where it is that I wanted to go. And I later, in postgraduate studies, studied Chinese language and then a Master of Climate Change. And during that course on climate change, one of my lecturers showed a chart on how important China's emissions were going to be for the future of addressing climate change. And then I decided that it was an opportunity to kind of combine my interests in China and climate and come over here and start working with a nonprofit at first, and then I've had a few different jobs since I've been here. But the summary of that is, I just wanted to say to you guys that there are many varying paths to a career in climate and sustainability. And one thing that I've learned in my time is that you don't have to have necessarily been to the best schools or to be from a certain social class to have an impact in this area. Anyone can make a difference if that's what motivates you. And motivation will take you, I think, a lot further than a piece of paper will. So keep that in mind. Okay, let me share my slides. And again, Alvin, I will ask you if there is any issue, just to let me know, but hopefully that will come up in a second. Okay, I hope that's okay. It looks like it's working. All right. So we're talking about career pathways today, and as I said, there are many pathways to a career in climate. Let me just navigate through. Yes. So before I get started on that, I just wanted to briefly introduce the organization that I work for. Again, this is not meant to be about me, just so you understand what Client Earth is. Client Earth is an environmental law-focused NGO, and we have, I was going to say more than 300, I think it's much more than that, 400 or 500 staff internationally. Primarily, our motivation was to use the law, its founding foundation was to use the law as a tool to deliver environmental outcomes. We use that to address climate change, also for nature protection, and many other new and emerging issues like plastics pollution and chemicals and all the rest of it. And Internationally, we're now, I think there's a couple of updates to this, actually. We have people in Japan and Singapore and the Philippines in addition to this current map, but you get a sense of the sort of scope of the areas that we work in. And as I mentioned, we do work on climate. We also work on nature protection, and that has also included not just making good new laws, but also enforcing laws, and that includes through litigation and taking to court actors that we think need to improve their performance, be that governments or the private sector. Over the past sort of decade and a half, we've had quite a few wins, both in the energy space, air pollution in particular. Urban air pollution is something that we've tackled quite a bit. The Białowieża forest was a Polish forest that was saved as a result of our work. But we also do a lot of capacity building, and a lot of the work that we do in China, where I'm based, is actually around that. So building the capacity of judges, prosecutors, to bring environmental cases and hear environmental cases. China has been a particular success story for us. We've done a lot of training capacity building for those stakeholders, and since that began, there's been well over 100,000 now